I just had the sales lady in the other day, so it's usually fall. Well, we've been doing every other year. We don't make anything on them. We haven't been holding the snow on them.
Well, guys, should we get at her?
I'm thinking so.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll run down this down.
You guys have a minute to look at the minutes?
I looked at the minutes, I saw nothing.
I didn't either.
Just make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Claims.
I'm good with them.
Gary,
I don't have nothing.
you mark anything or no?
Did you?
Yeah, I looked at yours.
Yeah, one thing I had a question on, Haley. Sanitarian phones, $900 some.
There's more. Sanitary is gone?
Yeah, did you forget a couple months or something, or?
Yes,
Okay. That's all I had to hear.
after a year, we finally got the new employee phone, county phone, and then my phone's old flip phone like yours, 3G, and it just replaced it.
Okay,
So we wouldn't lose service.
got it. All I need to hear.
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. How about the DS?
So every year we certify those that are on the tax suspension list.
Yeah.
That way the treasurer suspends taxes too. But then if something changes in status or they go to sell the property, they have to pay back those taxes. So we don't mention them by names, but if you can approve Tracy to sign that list, get it sent out. There was one more than last year.
So moved.
And I would second Gary's motion to approve that tax suspension list.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mark? You start.
Ready? This morning, guys, I have Jerry Kennan here to my left and Nick Thompson. Guys, this is Haley Ripple, our county auditor, Tracy Seaman, Gary Gershank, and Rick Permer, our county supervisor.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning. Nick lives at 2862 60th Street in Benton. If I can get to the map, I'll show you here where it is. It'll be right up here in section 30 of Benton Township. On the south side of the road, it's just to the west of 28th Avenue Drive. The property that we're looking at today is Jerry Cannon is the owner, and we're seeking a variance to the Benton County subdivision ordinance. And Haley and I worked up a resolution here that I attached to the maps. I just wanted to show you basically what this is all about and why I suggested that they seek a variance to the subdivision ordinance. The first sheet here shows the property, the whole 40-acre tract basically. And there's a subdivision over in the northeast corner of the 40 that's been there since 1994. And that basically is water under the bridge as far as our splitting requirements, because our subdivision ordinance that we currently have came in 2001, but our very first subdivision ordinance was 1995. There's a little parcel right down here below all of those other lots that was split out by Jerry in 1996. So that split did count. What we're looking at today is Nick sits up here on lot 1 of Sutton's first edition. He is the owner of that, and I highlighted this little parcel just to the west of his property line. It looks like a C basically as far as its shape. Nick would like to buy that, and Jerry is willing to sell that to him. In order to do that, obviously, that'd be another parcel, and it would be subject to the subdivision ordinance. So that parcel is approximately, as you can see on the second page, a little less than 1/2 acre in size. And so when Nick and I talked originally, I suggested to him that if you were willing, I would submit to you that we allowed for that by varying the subdivision ordinance in its entirety. He's not looking at putting a new home there or anything. The way that, excuse me, you can see the way that road, that those are private access roads coming off the county road, the way those roads lay there, it basically separated that parcel from the rest of Jerry's ground there anyway. And it made sense to me, and so I was proposing to you that they'd be able to do that. They could do it with a simple plat of survey if indeed you vary the provisions to the ordinance. Is there anything I left out, Nick, that?
I don't think so.
Basically, it's just a matter that he'd like to have that and own it, and if indeed he ever wanted to put a shed or something on it, he could,
I'd
but
like to put a Christmas pole barn on it, and
We're not
still
looking-
have the room online, so.
he's not creating any new housing lots or anything like that. And so that's what the resolution speaks to is varying the subdivision ordinance in its entirety.
So moved.
I'll second it. All in favor of granting the resolution 2830? 2230.
30. His glasses back on.
A resolution,
Appreciate that.
River Eye.
Seaman, aye.
Need
Thank you, Bill.
one or two of these copies signed. Two. Oh, he's starting one. It's just an extra. Okay, so you just need your signature.
Is that what you put in the recording?
You need 2 copies or 3?
Just 2.
Perfect. You just chase that one. Flip it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Thank you.
And that one you keep. When this, is gonna get all done and whatnot, auditors and copy of the original resolution, you guys have your record. Or when you get it made, now they will
Terminated, large than that.
get recorded. So, we're all done.
Could you number 7 if you guys want?
Thanks a lot, John.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Can you be excused?
Most certainly can. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
I'm gonna see you sometime today, if you're in the office, give you some more news. So,
Can you talk to Mark?
yes.
It might be an if, but I think we're down to it. Otherwise, we'll see you in the morning, probably.
Yep.
It's nice to
Yeah,
have everyone get
that's
outside today,
How about
everyone.
that?
That is our policy advisory plan, so they're always gonna be here behind, so that's what this is from last year,
Okay.
21. That's where they look at the portion we have for DHS here in the buildings, the
Okay.
state, all that, and then they list all that out in there. We do it every year.
It's just
Every year, and
an
then,
annual thing.
and it's like, I think the bill is 4,500 a year.
From them?
I'll need you to sign. So that's what Penny uses too for the amortization schedule. You can use it for transportation, indirect costs for expenses to help show offset his income that he gets too. So there's different departments that use it.
So we need a motion to approve the cost, fiscal year 21 cost advisory plan.
Yep, and so let Tracy sign that.
Okay, yes, and to allow him to sign it. That's my motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If you want me to email you guys that, that's how they do it now, instead of giving us a binder,
I think this is just all right.
well, it's on file. And the DHS got a copy as well.
And the important part is, this is, for example, like the parking lot, this is how they're gonna follow the
Yep, and I
the
already kind of
percentages.
told him about that, he's coming in.
Mhm.
Cause he actually, we talk on the phone too and go over things. Because the state actually, we used to do the 30% here, now they're going up 38. Which that's how they kind of find that stuff, so. Make sure that claim has already been in this list.
Oh, yeah, like, from here.
Oh, no, that one.
Oh.
I've already might have had it in here. So were you waiting for the engineer?
Pardon?
Were you waiting for the engineer today?
Is he coming today?
Not till 9:45. 9:45.
9:45. Can I just wait here?
I just wanted to make sure that's what you were here for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Sir, I didn't have any reports this week.
I got this week, check this week. Last week. I phoned in. What was that you didn't want?
Tourism?
No.
We have one today at 1. You coming to that one?
This is your American funds.
And then I'll probably have a resolution on the agenda for next week.
Sure.
Kind of where we're gonna allocate it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Again.
Again.
My big report is due the 30th, so from what we've spent already, I can go in and tell it where it went.
Air teacher.
Good.
Eight area on 8 air teaching. On 8.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. It's not, I'm sorry. It's, but if we don't do anything, everybody, they want you to come to the meetings. It was a good idea for you to get rid of that.
You probably picked that one.
Okay, Kristen.
Ready for me?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the last of our MOUs. I brought you the copy earlier to review. So this would be the Sheriff's Office MOU, 10% raise. Basically, the couple things that changed were the President's Day moving to Martin Luther King Day. The employee rates are going to be the same as everybody else. They were paying a little bit less. And then they added a little bit of time to their probation period as part of the agreement. So if you guys will approve and give Tracy signing authority.
Just say that changes their insurance amount.
Yeah, and I already let Nancy know
So
that.
they'll be the same as us.
Yep, everybody will be the same now. We won't have two separate rates, which should be nice.
I believe you verbally given us updates on this.
I thought so, but I figured I'd just drop you off the actual thing because it looked longer than I realized, but then it's just a lot of legal jargon in there as well.
The only question I got, Kristen.
Yep.
Excuse me. Where they got the dollar amount on the health insurance,
Let me pull that.
page 2 in the back.
Yes.
The only problem I have in that's unforeseen, if it goes up next year, because this contract still carries on.
Yes. Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it says it'll be identical, including all premium rates, premium discounts for the wellness program, and that would include like the, basically that would all encompass
Okay.
everything. So we should be good to go on that.
So they're not out by themselves again.
No,
I want to keep everybody together.
correct. Nope,
Fair,
yep,
fair.
they should be all encompassing under that.
Okay.
It should be good. The only way that it would ever change is if we allowed it to during negotiations, which that would be silly. So
Okay.
we should be good. And I have the master copy here for you, Tracy, when you're ready.
I think the paragraph pretty well sums it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, be identical with all other county employees.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a little more specific than I liked as well, but we had a lawyer write it up in there.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Sheriff's Office memorandum of understanding and authorize your signature.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I hang on to this copy?
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, getting back to reports, I had, the WMA last week in Rapids. So I guess I was assured that we will be reimbursed for monies out of our pocket.
There's a chunk of change hanging out there.
Yes, there is.
Mhm.
So, it was a long meeting, thanks to me. Haley gave me the facts and figures, and I had them with me, so I had things to back what I was talking about, so I thank you.
I was very concerned last week. I feel better now.
You have a verbal
Well, I'm just going back and forth. because
assurance.
When I submit the tax and then they turn around and adjust it and take off invoices and then it's like,
Well, I had landfill, Thursday night. Things are running smooth.
Good.
That was one of the shorter meetings that we ever had, so.
You got a good set of people running the show down there.
Excellent.
We didn't see this Saturday.
Well,
The case gone.
yeah.
Gal across the street from the secretary. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's good.
Yep. They're all good.
Yeah,
They're all good.
that's what it takes, is it takes a team.
Yep. That's one of the things Eric's right now working on with Kirsten right now. Which I thought when they joined, remember 2 years ago, we voted to let them come on the county insurance plan, and there's only 2 employees that do that. And their premium is actually higher than ours. Whatever, but anyway, so now they wanna go with the buy down. Like everybody else. Now, to me, that'd be common sense. Kirsten is working this out, I guess, how to figure how to do this. I think updates, been doing a lot, not a lot, but at the end of the hall here. So we were down there Saturday. Yeah.
What's the deal on Hannah Lake? Is that, you gonna get that done this year?
The building, there again, they're waiting on me to get the blueprints done, and I haven't worked on them for 2-3 weeks.
You'll like the new guys down there.
Like I said, I haven't met him. I haven't seen him on the road, that part of it has gone.
I don't know how,
He lives in Belle Plaine.
yeah, you just moved. The road's coming up down at Hannah Lake.
The road is coming up.
They seal coat it every year and it's breaking up.
Oh, well, I think it's under Meyer's 5-year plan to redo that, you know.
Well,
I don't remember what year it is.
I think it's 23.
they seal coat it every,
You got that handy?
Yeah.
It's over in the closet.
they seal coat it every year.
Yeah.
And the seal coat, it's not in very good shape at all.
It beats ignoring it.
Well, there's a lot of damage happened.
The road has been in tough shape for quite a while.
The one going down to Hannah Lake is bad too, but this is at Hannah Lake. Right.
Oh, in front of it.
No, it's actually at Hannah Lake,
In
in the lake
the
area.
lake property. Okay.
They seal,
Nix that. He's talking about inside the park.
In the park,
Because I know right out in front of the park, it is all broke up.
that road's pretty good shape
Yeah,
now.
right down there in that draw, it is busted up, at least what we could have.
I guess I don't see that any different what it's always been.
That's pretty much what I was saying. The road's been pretty tough shape.
And they did get somebody to host down there.
Oh, did they?
Somebody from Tama or something, I think. They were having trouble finding a host.
No, this is for you too, for you.
If we got it nailed down.
Yeah. But usually they redo inside the lake area in the fall.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna make it.
the oil and chip in her spring.
Always in the spring.
I thought it was.
Well, give it a restraint. Very expensive, I think.
Yeah.
I know yours.
So's asphalt.
Well, the oil and the gravel chip.
I understand.
Yeah.
That going in asphalt.
Oh,
Could just be, yeah. So our choices are kind of slim, so.
They did pull in there up on top, on the east side. One of the trucks pulled in there, tore it all up.
well, it was last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if he got stuck or not, but it was close. We never did get paid for that, did we? Like, dumped them chips.
By that company, no. If that's the same company who you're working for, isn't it?
You just put the chip?
That's for business.
No, she's on the docket then?
Not under,
That's very. On a side note, these guys, Friday when I met with them, Ray was last week, early in the week. We're gonna change a little bit on this side over here.
Okay.
We're, gonna try to make it more level. If you notice, if you remember, the doors are kind of humped up and everything goes down to the side.
Right.
They're gonna actually leave the old asphalt and everything in there, they're gonna pull on top of it, so it ain't gonna be so.
Profound.
Yes. You're still gonna have fall to the northwest, but I
Sure.
mean, it's not gonna be as severe as it is.
just on this one.
Yeah, and then see the other side, they gotta tear that out because that's too high.
Right.
You can't go on top of that. So I agree to that. And then when it comes to the stoop, we don't know when they're gonna get it, or what are they gonna get into? Because the stoop that's out there right now, it's actually poured underneath the doors. So I'm leaning on leaving that stoop there. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, they were talking about cutting it, you know, and leaving that short stretch underneath the door. I don't know. I said, it's been there for 50 years, and it ain't busted, and it ain't broke, and it ain't eating.
So, yeah.
And I said, we got the equipment here to try to peel that asphalt off. That's down lower to make that all the same grade, so.
Is that gonna interfere with the DHS? Or is that gonna interfere with the distribution?
It will for a day, I mean, for a week, they'll have to come in this door, which they already know that. I've been dealing with Linda because, you know, I had got her moved out of there, so. Yeah. Okay,
Hello,
hello.
so I'm Lisa Scully, I'm the Benton and Iowa DCAT CPC coordinator, and the board had asked to, do an amendment to the contract and add $5,000 for the child safety screening for this project, and so that's what's in front of you.
Okay.
You have the pass through.
What is pass-through?
next motion to take that copy.
Okay.
Husband's going on it. Just gonna give any updates or anything. What you've been doing.
Well, I've been very busy working with the graduate program. We have 5 graduates that we're purchasing things for. And then the law enforcement project also, I just delivered another $1,000 worth of a little fine review disc that officers seem to really like. When I delivered the first round, one of the officers asked, "Where are those? Those were good." So we had some extra money and we bought some more of those for them, so.
Any questions?
Entertain a motion.
And I will second that motion to approve the contract amendment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
Only one signature page on that last page.
Yeah, just to say.
I think once you get it all signed, just send this scan copy back to me. Okay. Put it on our file.
I want to put it in the title of there, though. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pretty good all the time today, didn't I?
Tracy, if you give me a copy of your
Oops, sorry. No problem.
Okay.
Dang stuff, we need to find a place for about half of this furniture.
Cheers. I don't know how often it's used.
Almost be worth investing some decent folding chairs. Have them lined up someplace.
Well, these
One
were
of them
set.
chairs that said I wanted to make smoke on it, had a missing wheel.
Yep, I don't know which one it
Or
was.
one of the office chair ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were just set.
Yeah.
Not sure which one.
Put it in the hot seat, so it comes in, let's just sit in it.
Our other choice would be to move these outer two tables inward.
Yeah.
And I guess we could do that.
We're not 6 feet apart anymore.
Well, that's true.
We don't have to be.
those, documents or whatever from, that we got in yesterday, DOT documents and stuff. I think we're gonna be doing some of that stuff. Did you?
I don't know, no, I did not, maybe I didn't see it.
What was that?
Oh, about a half a dozen items that came in. I mean, this references DOT projects. If memory serves me right, you see them? Your county email?
Thursday. Last Thursday?
Oh, I've been out of the office all day Friday, all day yesterday.
Okay, the only thing I got from the DOT is on Thursday,
Okay,
last week.
there are about a half a dozen
I'll click on
attachments.
it. No. No, over the meeting, B61. From 218 Pratt Creek.
Yeah, I don't have it on my phone. I didn't bring my computer.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me go back up there. Maybe I missed it.
So what do they do with
It's
it?
in the county email.
That's what I thought.
Well, they're moving a lot of dirt
Where?
down on Highway 30.
Oh, yeah.
Be nice when it's done.
It said Thursday, yesterday.
I thought it was yesterday.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No,
Okay, now, I'll have to look again.
I don't think I get those. I can't help it.
nothing.
I was gonna grab my computer this morning and walked off without it.
The Iowa DOT has got pictures from when Highway 30 was a dirt road.
Yeah.
And it ain't been that long ago. Hasn't been 100 years.
Oh, gosh, no. But it's getting closer to 100.
What's that?
It's getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was in the 30s,
I
it
was
was still
gonna
a
say it
dirt
was in the
road.
30s.
My dad was born in 28, and he had rabbit fever when he liked to hunt. And he had rabbit fever when he was a kid. And Dr. Slunts from Keystone came, and it was mud roads everywhere, you know. Basically saved his life.
I think that's why the Model A's have such narrow wheels, tires, easier to get through.
Yeah. Use some big skunks on Sundays. They go to church and eat big skunks.
Sunday afternoon.
As big as skunks or stumps?
Skunks. They can't spray you if they're tailing up.
What do you do digging them?
For the furs. When I was a kid, I'd come up to your office.
Yeah, I remember. I'm thankful we don't do that anymore.
Roadkill, 15
There's
cents.
a picture of people on the courthouse lawn. I don't know, I think Andrew Alligator. People are standing out there with their animals and stuff.
Yeah. Fox ears. $2 for fox
I
ears.
know they used to do the dog tag. That's some duties I don't miss.
We used to, muskrat feed. I think, no, gopher feet is what it was, gopher feet.
Why, what would they do with them, or it's just because it was the bounty?
Bounty farm, just a bounty. Yeah. Went from a nickel when I first started, then I got as high as a quarter. And then what used to be so funny is that you go up there and they lay the paper towels out, the wooden, or wood, not wooden, but the brown paper towels, and they count them, they use a pencil, and count how many pairs you had. And then they pick them all up and they take them to the window, and they didn't have screens in the windows and they kick them out. Well, the kids around there would go out there and pick them back up and bring them back in. They didn't want to throw them in the trash because they'd have to smell them.
Let's do that. My picture window.
Corn?
Those were the good old days. Candy bars were nickel, pockets of dime, daddy give you a quarter.
You were rich.
I'd have to go work for the other day.
Coming over.
Cause it'd be 30 cents to get
In
2
our
bucks.
waterway area, where
Candy
I walk,
bars.
this big old hole.
You can't do it with your husband, can if he just sprinkle. Okay,
No, $5 won't do it
come
hardly.
back. Go in the hole and sprinkle on it.
I won't come back to that spot.
Right.
That was a big deal. We had gophers all over the place.
Everybody has 40 acres of hay,
Now those I can catch.
40 acres of oats.
Take a jug, 5-gallon jug, and put water in it, and pour it down, and then it comes up, and then you catch them.
That's a ground squirrel.
Oh, I thought those were ground.
No, that's ground squirrel.
That's how you can catch those.
Stripers, yeah.
My kids used to, that was their job to go do.
Yeah.
Out of Irish, we got them along the driveway, and then a badger come on. And we got a mess. And it only takes them a couple minutes.
We had a badger in the cemetery last fall.
They make a mess, don't they?
We got 2 stones already.
Yeah.
I bet that is what that is.
But he won't come back. Only in spirit.
He's in the cemetery already.
I don't know what it was. One time we had an animal digging and we were plowing, we plowed it up. And, I chased it a half a mile and it'd turn on you. It was a, it wasn't a groundhog. I ended up shooting it in the head with a 22 and the bullet bounced off his head. Had a single shot. Had a reload. Shoot. So the county engineers got all this gravel, all this before the first of the year, or before June, July 1st.
Mm-hmm. In his budget, he just hasn't let them haul yet, I think.
It's good to know.
He's gonna be in here, he's gonna ask mine. Make a copy.
Yeah. Here's your other. Thank you.
canceled one of my meetings due to a scheduling conflict. Darn it.
We're not going around the dairy there. Bad. There ain't any. Then they're going down the road. Mile or a little more. 2-3 times a day. The tractor and freeway.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How's it for you today? How are you? It'll be nicer today for you.
Enjoying the sunshine.
It's brisk.
Yeah, exactly.
And that year, I forget his name, new guy down in Hannah.
Oh, Cameron?
Yeah,
Yeah, Cameron Rubin.
he's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And,
Guess he found a place in Belle Plaine.
yeah, yeah. Did he end up telling you about that a little bit? They let him into the retirement community because they weren't filling spots, so they live at the 55 plus center. But I mean, it works really well. It's super close, so.
Where was that one at?
It's in Belle Plaine. It's a new one. It just opened, so it's like very nice.
Pretty nice and quiet.
Yeah. And there's not many people there. I don't know if they even have anybody like in their wing or whatever. So they just get he's taking additional classes and stuff like that right now. So he gets the whole place to himself to do homework and everything. So
You down their meals and all that too?
what's that?
They probably have meal time or,
I don't think so. It's a
so it's not like for that?
yeah.
Not assisted
I was
living.
gonna say.
It's not it's not assisted. It's just a community learning center. So they've got a nice area for games and stuff like that.
Hi, Myron.
Good morning.
Good morning, Myron.
Assuming it's close enough for that time. We're out, we passed. We had a walk this morning.
I found that out.
Good morning. Last Tuesday, the DOT had their scheduled monthly letting. In that letting, we had a box culvert project. As you can see in front of you, there were 6 bids turned in for that project. I would ask the board to accept those 6 bids as received. The DOT has reviewed them and they all meet their requirements. Whether you want to do it in the same motion, I'd also recommend that we award the project to the Iowa Bridge and Culvert LC, who is the lowest responsible bidder.
No reason we can't do it all in one, is there?
Nope.
Yeah. Make the motion that we acknowledge all of the 6 bids and accept the Iowa Bridge and Culvert bid.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's quite a bit of difference in these bids.
Oh, yeah.
There is, and actually in January, when an estimate was put together before the material costs went up a little bit more, the estimate was 257,000, so the low bid is only, what, $2,700 over the
Yeah, estimate.
estimate, but yeah, there's, based on their material costs, their labor costs, and their schedule, I think that's probably what you see in the middle 4 bids. The last one, I would imagine, is more of, if I had to do it, here's what I'm gonna do it for.
Sure.
As we have done with the last few projects, I don't know if you want a copy of this or not, but all of the contracts to enter into the DOT project management.
Yeah.
With the approval of the contract, if you're all right with the county engineer, myself, signing on behalf of you in that system instead of having to bring a laptop in every time we do this. This is what this resolution is proposing. Give us the contractor that contract price and the lid date. And county engineer Myron L. Prezek is signing on behalf of the board of supervisors.
So that's a, and second that motion.
On favor?
This,
Yep.
resolution, right?
Yep.
And Kramer, aye.
Here's guy.
Team and I.
Number, one out there. Or,
I think we're gonna sign two, so he only has one, and I have one, so.
And then we're just running collection. We're starting date and we'll.
I guess the other one comes around here. This project, the contractor has 60 working days to do that, and they could start as late as April 3rd of 2023. Whether they do that this year or not, I guess we'll find out. This happens to be the same contractor that's going to be doing the black culvert on 59th Street Trail later this summer. That we talked about a couple weeks ago during the budget program. He has the same crew that he's not quickly, but I haven't talked to them yet. Prior to your action today, I'm not supposed to talk to them anyway, so. Item number 2.
Oh, yeah? Thank you.
Color copy of the fluorescent orange for the books, but it's still highlighted, so. Tracy, last Tuesday, you asked, we were discussing, as well as you asked, or made a request now, highway, extra copy? Yeah.
Good morning, Myron.
How are you today?
Thank you very much.
You talked about it earlier in your board meeting, I think, before I got here Tuesday, and then when I was here, was talking a little bit about the Highway 21 interchange project, Highway 30 intersection, and how the rock roads around that area have been impacted since that closure. From our viewpoint, I think the orange highlighted segments on the map are what are primarily being impacted based on Randy Sherwood's observations, as well as rural residents in that area contacting him or I or others, as well as some general traffic. I reviewed myself and a few travels there, and the question being posed is to whether or not a speed limit temporary would be worthwhile during the duration of that project. What we did last year around the Blairstown Bridge overlay was a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit during that construction period on the traffic that was going around Blairstown to the east on 76th and 23rd Avenue, I believe it was. This map highlights 72nd Street Drive between Highway 21 and 11th Avenue Drive, north of Highway 30, 74th Street from Highway 21 all the way over to 13th Avenue, Old 130, Highway 131, and 11th Avenue Drive from 72nd Street Drive all the way south to 76th Street. The only reason I did not highlight 76th Street or 11th Avenue Drive between 76 and 77, which would be a mile north of the golf course, is currently posted at 45 miles an hour. If this is something that the county board wants to do, I do have a resolution indicating 35 miles an hour on that highlighted segment of the road, or if we want to modify it, we could tweak this resolution. Make changes accordingly.
That looks good to me.
Now, I don't know how many speed limit signs I have in stock at the moment, and how quickly this could be signed. If action was taken today, but if I look at this today, we don't have them in order as quickly as they used to, but the project's also a year and a half project. So, you have any comments?
Sure, can I stand? Please. I'm gonna stand right here by Byron. You don't know who I am, I'm Doug Kozik.
Who's gonna guess that?
Okay, all right. I don't think I ever met you before. And you are exactly right. What you got highlighted here, that's the heavy traffic, the roads on right here. And you did say you were thinking about putting, I'm hard of hearing, I'm sorry.
Sure.
35 mile an hour speed limit. Okay. I also been talking to DOT as far, and this is state doing some, just letting you guys know. But up by the Elbron Keystone Blacktop, they are going to put different signs up there. There's not enough signs for the detour to hit the Keystone Blacktop.
Okay.
The DOT is gonna do that. Also, as far as putting oil on the roads by these heavy traveled areas, the DOT's gotta do that. That came right from Tony Gustafson. He's a big wig in Ames.
District 1, engineer, or district engineer for
Yes.
District 1.
Yes. And there's a guy from Marshalltown over the project, 2130 project. His name is Bruce, and he's in charge of relocating these signs and everything, because everybody's coming out north or south of Dyser coming, and they just travel right by the detour, come all the way up until the road is closed a quarter mile away from Highway 30, and then they zip up. The roads, I hate to say this, guys, but when you turn off, if you go up to 11th Avenue Drive, when you pull off Highway 30, you gotta watch that already. It's a washboard, it is. You get going. See, I farm right on both sides of 30. And it's just like a washboard. This is the first time since last week I came up here. I went west to 21, and that's the same way. Just if you want to see how much traffic there actually is, just look at all the gravel, and after rain, how much is pulled on 21. So just letting you know, there was one more thing I'd like, what was I gonna say? Oh, Saturday after the rain, don't worry, all your dirt roads up here, they all had people stuck on them with barricades on. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. But no, that would be nice. And you know, if you could, this is very nice slowing the traffic down. I don't have a problem with local traffic, but I think 80% of the traffic through there is not local. I can handle Tama County plates, Benton County plates. That's local. But when you see out of state, yesterday my wife said there was a semi go by that carries the new cars. You know, yeah. So,
Yeah, it's really hard to get them out of, the maps and everything don't show this. So them out-of-state drivers, they come driving in here with, or whatever, the GPS don't
I
show
know
either.
Tanner Schwab's house right east of me, hit on the GPS, which I don't know nothing about, but he has them on one of the dirt roads. And he just told me he tried to Google it to change it. That's just what he said, but I'm just saying, guys, just saying.
Those dirt roads could be closed.
Pardon?
Those dirt roads could be closed.
What about farmer access to it then?
Or there's one right north of Belfast on 131.
Yeah, the Sheets farm.
I think he's got a key to it, but I don't know if that's what we want to do or not.
I'm just saying, what I call the metal dirt road, I got a Bear 80 on the east side. Terry Ulch has, that's the only farmsteads on there. Now, when you go south toward Irving Cemetery, there's several farmers through there. When you go north on that other dirt road, that's mainly Terry Schwab. Just saying. Then also you gotta remember something too, what I call the dirt road of Terry Schwab's. There's that little bridge down in there, and by the Irving Cemetery on that dirt road, there's that little bridge. What's gonna happen if there's a semi that's carrying 30-some thousand pounds and goes across through those bridges good enough to support it? I don't know. I'm just asking a question.
Those bridges, if they're on a dirt road, are they still marked?
Most of ours are. I mean, if they're on a level B road, our level B ordinance indicates that they may or may not be, but we have made an effort to post those in most cases. And in these dirt roads, we're talking shorter spans, that the likelihood outside of doing some rechecking, they're probably still legal.
Yeah.
Because loaded vehicles.
And they can only get one axle on the bridge at a time, probably.
That would be true, but it still wouldn't necessarily change how that analysis is done and the posting is intended to reflect. Yeah, you guys have the resolution, I guess, if that's what you want to take action on, I delete that, and I guess it's probably what the resolution is on posting
My question, if the state's going to oil this, is it necessary to reduce that speed? I realize people get traveling way too fast, etc. But if
I was down there.
that oil's gonna stop a lot of that dust from rolling,
I was down
which
there
makes it hard to see,
yesterday or the day before, and it's really not safe to be driving 60 miles an hour.
Due to traffic or due to dust?
Due to sight.
Okay.
I mean, you'll come over top of a hill if you're running 60 miles an hour. It ain't
No,
gonna work.
I get that, but there's a
I was driving,
bazillion roads around that are the same way. And if they're going to oil it, is it a waste of time to do this speed limit?
But Rick, when they oil it, they're also going to the county's gonna have to maintain it, because you're gonna get so many potholes and everything else. So you're gonna have to maintain it sooner or later, then you're gonna lose your oil.
It's probably a tree sap, I'm guessing.
That is correct.
Which doesn't last as long as.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is right. But guys, that speed limit you talked about, that's wonderful. It really is. Because right east of my house, the hills, I mean, you're thinking all the time. And as the other guy meeting you, are they thinking?
most of them are out of state.
Yes,
But again, you've got to enforce it.
that's correct.
You can put it down to 10 mile an hour. If it's not enforced,
And if you do enforce it, word gets out.
oh, well, no doubt.
word gets out. The more word that gets out, the better you are. At least in my opinion.
I don't have a problem with that, with this. And, you know, safety is always a big concern. And so I'd make the motion that we approve this resolution to reduce the speed limit on these given roads that are marked out. And I suppose if there's anything else that comes up as far as needing additional roads marked, that could cross that bridge when we get there.
Second,
By resolution,
Kramer, aye.
your snake eye.
Seaman, aye.
And we need to make sure the sheriff is aware of this.
I'll probably see him this afternoon.
Good. You look happy with you.
There's coming.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, Doug.
I won't be back up to see you anymore.
Yeah. You want to sign the second one?
Remember that one already.
That's pretty nice that the DOT's gonna allow in roads. If they can take the lead, that's fine.
Pass it to those guys.
There's a large little word in there, you know, if we take the lead, I heard you.
Well, generally in the past, with regarding dust control, the code or administrative rules, I forget what it reads, that the county can get reimbursed for that. When we've done
So if,
some other state, or other dust control caused by traffic from state projects, we've hired the dust control contractor, we've paid the bill, and he has reimbursed
this
us
is
for that.
reimbursed. Okay.
So that's the only thing I say, yeah, but I don't think that there's gonna be a problem with them participating in it. The question is whether they're coordinating it or whether we have to do that.
Sure. And at what point do you pull the trigger and just do it? How long do you wait?
Last year I had the contractor monitoring it himself and knew how the process worked, and so he was applying it at intervals where he felt the dust was becoming more noticeable. Now, I don't have that benefit with this moving forward. It happened to be our local dust control applicator, and so it just worked out great that way, but, we will come up with a plan.
Private phone call.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Myron.
Myra,
Yes.
are you gonna start spreading gravel pretty soon, or what's the story on that?
We have with our own trucks having it here for the last few weeks.
There's some areas around the dairy that are pretty thin on gravel. And they're, I don't know if it costs more or not. Whenever we redo them blacktop roads down there, it'd be nice to be able to, and I don't know, I'm just bringing it up, extend the blacktop goes down to the corner, a mile east. It'd be nice to go south, at least a half a mile. Is that they put a building on the east side of the gravel road, and they're going up and down that road all the time, and it's a mess. So, and then they're taking, field over to another farm, which is east of the dairy. That'll need to be blacktop. Because I don't know how long they'll be doing it, but it needs some attention. I mean, it's a mess. Well, I'm sure the maintainers work on it more often than most normal roads. But you get down that way, take a look at it.
No, we've been trying to reshape the roads right now and use what we've got on the road, and then we're placing rock on top of it. Well, the projects, like I say, at some point here in the near future, we'll coordinate some trucking and do some heavier rocking, farther from quarry, but, we might just hit it with our own trucks.
There's some roads up in the northeast corner of the county that are pretty thin with rock as well. Get up there. There ain't any. Whatever. And I'm sure that as the weather gets a little warmer, it's gonna, work out to get these roads in a little better shape. We didn't have any frost boils this spring that I know of.
Not any major ones, small ones here and there, but not like years past.
It worked out good. So that's all I have.
All right,
Thank
until next week.
Good morning, David.
That's all right.
I appreciate you coming up.
Get a parking lot out there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So where do you park?
Well, I don't know, they're driving around.
Park right behind Tracy, did.
Hey, so, pick up where we were at last week.
Well, so, yeah, so, picking back up from where we were last week, our request from Benton County Conservation Board is to have the properties that are managed by our Conservation Department be, and again, Shelby did a lot of work and realized that there's a number of different listings that the properties are titled under. And so our request is for your support in having those properties listed as Benton County Conservation. And so that's where our discussion centered last week, and so the request was for Dave to come in and join us as well, so we could get his input.
Can I ask a question? What does having a property listed as Benton County Conservation mean?
Just that we wish the properties that are under the management that they would be listed under our conservation board.
And again, I think it's pretty clear that everybody knows what you folks manage. So when you say listed under the conservation board, is there something different you want done with properties?
No,
The deed.
we just want the title,
Oh,
the
okay.
name change to the conservation.
You want the title changed to Benton County Conservation?
Right.
Okay. I'm not sure that's legal. Under chapter 350 of the Iowa Code, that sets forth the powers and duty and formation of conservation board. And under section 350.4, which specifies all the powers and duties that the conservation board has, number 2 says that you folks have the power to acquire in the name of the county, and that lists us by gift, by purchase, by lease, agreement, exchange, or otherwise, suitable real estate. It doesn't say that you acquire it in the name of the conservation board. It says, again, quote, to acquire in the name of the county by gift, purchase, lease, agreement, exchange, or otherwise. And then there's other things that get listed. I'm not sure that it's legal to put it in the title of Conservation Board. Then when I go to Iowa Code Chapter 331.361, actually that's the code section, Chapter 331, Section 361. When the county sells property, there's a very specific procedure in the code that you have to follow. You can't just automatically list it for sale. It's the county board of supervisors in that section that has the power to sell property. So even if you guys wanted to sell something, say it was titled in your name, it could legally be titled in your name, I don't think you can sell anything without the board's permission anyways. because it's the board that has that power. And so I don't know what a title change accomplishes here. Even if it were legal, I honestly don't know what public benefit it serves.
So, one example would be the Old Prairie Nature Trail, which I was part of the volunteer group that donated that to, very specifically, Benton County Conservation. So where our request is for the properties that we manage in Old Prairie Nature Trail is one of those. To take that a step further, what if after all of us are gone and the Board of Supervisors decides to sell the Old Prairie Nature Trail that was given specifically to conservation? That's where we're looking for that clarification so that future boards understand why it's titled as such.
And that's a different question that I haven't researched. But you know there was a case down in Benton County a number of years back between the Conservation Board and either the county or the city over, I think it was over that 100 highway. I might be wrong on the number. That I'd have to look into. But there are some prohibitions in the code. The board can't just willy-nilly do stuff to pull the rug out from under conservation. Your specific question there at the end is something I'll have to look up.
And I do have a question on code. It's 350.4. The very first section says the County Conservation Board shall have the custody, control, and management of all real and personal possessions.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because it says custody, control, and management. It doesn't say ownership.
What is custody?
Running it. It's not ownership.
And control and management.
When you're interpreting what a statute means, the first rule of statutory construction is that the legislature intended to say what it said. It doesn't say ownership.
And then further up, when it says Conservation Board must report their land acquisition, so stating that they're the ones that purchased it, so.
You have the power to acquire land, subsection 2, in the name of the county.
Sure.
So, it doesn't say in the name of the conservation. Now, I'd be more than happy to write this all up into a nice memo, because there are a couple other sources that I would like to check. And the question has come up in the past, well, what if we had a board of supervisors that wanted to force the sale of this property or that property? I'd be more than happy to draw it all up in a memo, because I think it's good to let everybody know where we stand legally.
Makes sense.
But as it stands right now, just on a reading of the code, I don't know that we can or even should transfer these different properties into the name of Benton County Conservation. And as an aside, Benton County Conservation is not separate from Benton County, Iowa. You don't stand equal with Benton County, Iowa. You are a political subdivision of Benton County, Iowa. So I don't, even if it were legal, I don't know what it gets you at the end of the day.
Is it? I guess it's just like like that clarification moving forward. I think that would be worth it.
Yeah, and I would say I don't agree with that. Because honestly, if the board tells me, if it turns out that this is legal, but I don't think that it is, the board tells me they want me to transfer 14 properties over to conservation, so no offense, you or someone else can feel better, I'll do that. I think that's just, assuming it were legal right now, not at all certain that it is. To me, that'd be a lot of busy work just to make somebody feel more comfortable. Busy work for my office, we're awfully damn busy. You catch my drift.
So if I may ask, on the cheat sheet she gave us, the one I can read,
Yes.
larger print, some of these are just titled, it says current owner from deed / on Beacon. Some of these are just Benton County, and some are Benton County Conservation. So does Benton County Conservation actually have ownership then?
The deed might say that, but right now my concern is it would be, it's owned by Benton County. Conservation is, you know, you think of subdivisions.
Yeah.
You guys are the head of the county government. Every board and commission is a subdivision, a political subdivision of the board of supervisors. So, I mean, I'm not offended if we have a deed that, you know, was given, some property given 30 years ago and it was entitled, you know, from, you know, member of the public to Benton County Conservation. I think it's pretty clear the county owns it. And I would like to do a little bit more research just to see if there's any Attorney General's opinions out there. But again, the code section in question under the powers and duties of the board says that they can acquire property in the name of the county. It doesn't, to me, it would say in the name of the conservation board of the county, or county conservation board, if that's what the legislature intended.
In that, I think that section 2 of that 350.4, it does say there that upon the request of the county conservation board, the county board of supervisors, on the request of the conservation board, may transfer to the county conservation board for use as museums, etc. Does that mean it may transfer ownership?
Yeah.
Or what? Well, hold on, Shelby, I know what you want here.
That's all
How
right.
about you actually do some legal research, follow the code?
Which is what I'm wondering here.
And again, no offense, but what does this get you folks? You don't have the power to sell it without board permission. If you want them to do something where they do a resolution that reaffirms that you have control over everything you've had control of over the last 30 years, you know, maybe that's something they'll do for you, but I don't understand why this is an issue.
So one other example.
Other than somebody wants it to be this.
No, so one example too that we've worked on recently is the Acton Roundhouse property, that there's a major investment required moving forward since it was hit head on by the derecho, and literally the timber is considered a full loss. So we've managed, conservation's managed that property for a long time, and so as we move forward to create a plan, if it's under control of the county supervisors, and they, you know, and again, maybe it's something we mutually work on, but whether that's something that eventually is turned over to the city of Atkins, who's expressed interest in that, or whether it's under the control or under the management of the conservation department. So it creates those questions on how we proceed in that particular property moving forward.
And again, honestly, I don't want to be argumentative today, but I would tell you that it is clear cut that the Atkins property has been under the control of the Conservation Board, well, ever since I've been around. I've never once seen the Board of Supervisors try to do anything other than step in when we had some safety type repairs that the board had to do over 20 years ago. I mean, I don't think anybody's saying that you're not in control of that.
Atkins leased it for a couple of years, city of Atkins,
Okay, but who was the lease with?
the city of Atkins,
But who was the other side of the lease?
supervisors.
Okay, when was that?
Then we sold part of it to that subdivision too.
How long ago was that?
Like 2000, or maybe in the 90s.
I'm pulling it up, I'm trying to.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay,
It's been there since I've been, I remember some.
way before my time too, but I
But
mean,
even if they leased it from, the city leased it from that county, and the supervisors are the ones that signed the lease.
yeah. Still back to the
It's
supervisor.
still back to the supervisor, you know.
Conservation didn't get it until after they did not want to renew that lease.
And they took over the management of it. And I don't know what you did for management, but I know a few years ago we were down there and it didn't look like a park by any means, so.
I think it was just supposed to be trails, they used this hiking trail.
Where they use it for the,
They used the cross country.
Cross country run, yeah.
So, you know, I think David's on the right track.
That's not formal.
Yeah. I really do.
But I also had the other question posed, you know, what if you had a, you know, board of supervisors that came in and said one day, you know, they want to sell the nature center? You know, something like that.
And it's definitely a concern of ours, you know, and we keep that consistent.
It'd have to be a board where all up for election, we're planning on getting reelected. You know, I know questions come up.
And then, I mean, I don't think it, well,
When you're speculating something like that, is it the cost of owning and operating or repairing, is it prohibitive? You know, and so everything has to be looked at. You're just throwing what ifs out there, so, yeah.
The one thing I was looking at, and I'm definitely not in David's shoes, but I look at it that us right around the table here, we're elected officials. You two guys are appointed by us. So that's what I think in my mind down the road. You know, you can do some things on that board, but you can't do selling the properties.
No, I don't think that's not the goal. It's just that as you look down the current owner on the deed, there's a number of those listed as conservation. And I think more than anything, we looked at it as to maintain consistency. So there was, to that point, switching over to the conservation department, as 20, 30 years from now, as staff changes, we want to make sure that there's clear definition on the properties that conservation is owning too, because we're not all going to be here.
I have troubles with, it's Benton County Conservation. It's not Primer Properties. I mean, so it is Benton County land, if you will. And Benton County Conservation is a part of Benton County. So I really don't understand the concerns, but, you know, I'm pretty simple.
Let me flesh out a couple more details now, later on.
Okay. Because the other thing I was thinking about, where again, like I keep saying, I'm no attorney. Benton County, we don't pay taxes for what we own. So I'm thinking back from, being on the assessor's board. If we got everything that's in Benton County Conservation, since that board is appointed and all that, wouldn't that technically have to be on the tax roll then?
I would say that's a question for the assessor. I do know that there are situations where the county, I think that we were actually paying some tax on that DHS building when we put it out for lease to the public.
We still do, yes, we do.
So that's, you know
what I mean?
And
if
some of
you
you
do
square
engage
footage.
in commerce, you know, it's not the public business per se. I know there are situations where the county can pay tax. Most of the time, almost all times, the county does not.
The farm ground, I know we pay tax on around the,
You lease it, not for public benefit, or well, it is for public benefit, but you lease it to a private individual, you know, for profit. Lease some income on this, and you pay some taxes on it.
We could open up a can of worms because all the campground sites then technically are leased. I
Well,
mean, somebody comes in and leases it for a weekend, don't they?
that's it's not the same type of, I don't believe it's the same. If they're maintaining it for the public benefit, and, you know, if they wanted to, they could call it a lease, or they could call it, your rental or whatever. It's not the same thing.
Rental deed.
And our assessor has never had an issue with it, and we should probably stop talking about it so he doesn't all of a sudden have an issue. I don't think it's,
Yeah. Well, I like the idea that you research a couple other items, and give us a summary, you know.
I don't think it's gonna change much regardless. I mean, we're not gonna sell a bunch of conservation property. The Camp Lake ain't gonna be for sale, Rogers Park ain't gonna be for sale. The railroad tracks going to Geyser aren't gonna be for sale.
No matter what Gary thinks about County.
So he's happy with it now.
I mean, if you go back and look, taking on Lake, for example, that was quite an accomplishment when it was first around.
I don't have any other questions. Yes?
No, either.
And then
For your work on this.
Thank you.
Appreciate the board's time on that, thank you guys, and we'll look forward to seeing David's brief and.
You betcha.
Yeah.
I've got a question, yeah. On, number 8 on your list that you got here, Eden Township, Wildlife area.
Yep.
Okay, I know it's way, way before your time, and I can barely remember some of that, but the Benton County, yeah.
Mhm.
How did they get that in their name?
Because it
That was a club.
was prior to the Conservation Board official start.
Oh.
And
Okay.
it was going to the Conservation Board, but
Okay.
it wasn't, they weren't created yet. Like,
Okay,
not
so
officially.
that's dissolved.
Sure, yeah, that's what I mean. When I went through all of these, I was
I
shocked.
almost say 90% of them were gone.
Yes, yeah.
No, and that's
Yes.
one, Dave, for you, that would be, that needs to be, I would assume that's an example of the title that needs to be changed to Benton County or Conservation or something, just because the.
Is that on your list here?
Yes,
Yeah.
number 8.
Mail.
Oh,
So,
Benton County.
just
Yeah.
contact us.
Actually, that Eden Township property, that's private now, isn't it?
Well, no, I guess not, none of them are.
That was one of them that caught my eye. That,
There's a, yeah, there's a few.
you know, that club's been gone for, in the 60s, I'd say.
Oh, I think it was probably in the 70s.
It really is immaterial whether
Yeah, it don't matter.
the date on it, that, you know, I would,
Right? I still got some books that, you know, I'll remember.
When it was put in fishing game.
Yeah.
I think I have documentation, 48 or 50 or something like that.
And then, what property is that?
It's a 1 acre schoolhouse that got, those are the ones that got donated to conservation boards.
That would, somebody living in that now, I think.
You guys still maintain that?
Well, it's on our list, yeah. We haven't done anything with the 1 acre plots, some of the things that we were talking about with these guys. We have a lot to talk about.
I didn't know that the county still owned that.
well, obviously, if it's listed there, it's probably not an actual, so it would be owned by that county.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what happens to properties that there's no owner on anymore, it reverts back to that county?
Always, a lot of them are still unknown until we get like an abstract out of. But there's just like sometimes where the rivers change, we get like some unknown parcels that aren't in taxation. And periodically, the county will go in and do abstract type thing and try to clear that up and go back to the taxation.
Is that a possible alignment where we don't have another entity that
Could be
we
that
have
was-
trouble locating right now?
We could have just been overlooked because of the river.
I think David can explain it more to you on that situation.
On Wyman?
Yeah.
My understanding of Wyman's is that it's, you know, the title to, what's the name of that trust? What number is Wyman?
It's the last second page, almost the last one, or the last one.
There it is, Wyman Memorial Park.
Yeah.
So it's entitled, or land is, entitled in Benton County, Iowa, and then a family revocable trust. And my understanding is so you have two entities, the county and the trust, and they each own an undivided 1/2 interest in this parcel that's about 5 acres. I talked to Tracy, I talked to Shelby in the past on this. My advice would be to see if we just come to an agreement with the trust, to either buy it out or negotiate something. Because if they wouldn't agree to what the county wants, you know, if say the county wanted to sell it or the county wanted to divide it or whatever, you have to entertain a partition action, which is a court proceeding, which is not going to be short.
Sure.
Better if you can negotiate something.
Yeah, it was undivided.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Half, I thought it was less.
No, it's equal, you know, it's equal,
So I don't know where it has it, it's equally.
yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think they're
Is that like
paying.
a kayak access or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, this is,
Yeah.
and a gazebo.
It's
North side of shop, 2 miles.
Yeah.
You're right.
Only 4.8 acres, pretty small, but
Yeah, I know you guys want to avoid what ifs, but if we can't get a hold of this trust, if no one's left in that, then what happens?
We talked about the liability on that.
Well, I'm sure you have insurance on it, so, you know, on that part of it, the liability, aren't all conservation properties insured? If this is entitled, and Benton County's on the title, so you need to have insured. If you can't get a hold of anybody, well, you're still gonna have to be able to get a hold of somebody to serve them with a partition action. So I'm sure that there's somebody out there.
Well, let's just wait till, see what
yeah,
happens.
see what they reply to
Yeah,
letters.
You told me that someone's still paying the taxes on
Yeah.
it, so there's somebody out there.
I went into the assessors and they have a note that they took a current email and phone number the last time they got a hold of somebody, but they couldn't find it anywhere. So I just have to send them a letter, so. And all I'm doing is asking them to give me a call.
Larry said that gentleman contacted him, so what happened?
Yeah, that was, yeah, a couple years ago. They had it all in the notes and they even said, look in personal or under, I don't know what they call the tab, but there was no notes in that personal tab, so.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you guys.
Hey, David? Anything else here? I think we're going through the list.
And we're done.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.